Well, it's that time of the year when you hear things, some good, some bad. Fan bases get very mad at reporters when they don't give you rainbows and birds chirping and a pot of gold at the end of every little video clip. Dianna Russini knows that all too well, senior NFL insider for The Athletic, covering the NFL for a decade now. So I started my show today saying, listen, these video clips, they all mean something. They all mean something. But I'm going to start with Micah Parsons. So he said, I don't want to be a Cowboy anymore. That's pretty drastic. You know, what's funny, because he was the 12th pick, he's actually still a top 5 or 6 cap hit for defensive end. Like he's been well compensated. It's not like Terry McLaurin, where he's wildly overproduced for his draft spot, never made big money, and he's a Pro Bowl level Hall of Fame level player. Were you surprised that Micah said, I'm done being a Cowboy? Did it surprise you?
No, because it's one of those things. You talk about how you hear things. I'd heard early last week that Micah had in his draft folder this letter. So I'd spoken to some people with other teams, and apparently it was out there that come the second week or third week of training camp, something was going to go down, that they were going to make a bold move. And Friday afternoon was that bold move. Colin, even Friday morning, I had reported that the relationship between Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons was so damaged that a trade could be on the table. And I mean, everyone responded wildly, because Dallas Cowboy players don't ask for trades, right? That doesn't happen. We see it almost in every other organization. It's just, you don't do that. Everyone wants to be a Dallas Cowboy because of what it provides you as a player, not just when you are currently, playing the game of football with the star on your helmet, but life afterwards. So a few hours later, Micah posts the note. And look, I think it was stunning just because it's unheard of there. But in terms of the negotiations and where they're at, Micah laid it out pretty well. And most people know what happened here with the conversation that he thought was just discussing numbers and a contract between the owner and him, not some binding deal that was going to be permanent. So then, of course, when his agent finds out about this, he's like, no, you're not negotiating with Jerry Jones. We're doing this. Now, a lot of people have been pushing back on, well, Micah had that conversation with Jerry, right? Like, he chose to discuss it. He sat there. He's a grown man. He understands what's happening. And so I asked somebody in the league about Dak, like, how did Dak handle that? Because Jerry's known to do this, to go to his star players and talk about a deal, whether it's Zach Martin, Tony Romo. We've heard tons of stories of him doing this. And Dak said, I'll talk to you, but I'm not talking numbers. Call Todd France, my agent. Call my agent. Right? So Micah had an opportunity to do that, but he didn't do it. And so I think that's the Cowboys' perspective on this. It's not like we held you to the fire and say, your feet to the fire and say, you must do this. You wanted to engage with us. Whereas, of course, the Micah Parsons side of it, what that is in terms of just, my agent needs to be part of this. And because of that, to me, this is Jerry versus Micah, as extreme as it comes.
So here's the thing. It's not that I haven't been burned by a source in my life, because sometimes people get bad information, but by and large, I trust people. And I've had many of the same pro football sources for a long time. And what I hear about J.J. McCarthy isn't what I hear, like the sometimes reported. There is this almost protective bubble or sort of an elevation of what he's doing. And it's not what I'm hearing, that there are real concerns from last year on. And again, my stuff is running counter to mostly what I hear. I mean, I'm not asking you to divulge everything, but I feel like in this one, I said this before the draft, I wasn't hearing teams were rushing to get J.J. McCarthy. I knew 2 teams that wanted to move up for Michael Penix. I knew one that wanted to move up for Drake May. And I didn't hear anybody moving up for Bo Nix. Sean Payton loved him, and that's about, he fell to where he should. But what I'm hearing on J.J. McCarthy would not instill confidence. Do I have a bad source? I mean, what do you make of the whole elevation of these stories that, hey, be patient, he's hitting it? Where are we on that?
Well, first, let's go with what I can tell you. Alec Lewis, the Athletic Vikings reporter, shares with me because I talk to him pretty regularly. And it sounds like it's just up and down, right? So there's some good, there's some bad. So, to that idea that the bad clips don't mean anything, I'm with you. It means something. At the same time, I've had coaches tell me when I used to be more of a beat reporter that sometimes you don't even know what we're doing. There's a reason why we're doing the certain things that we're doing, and you guys are just not informed. But that being said, I think what you're pointing to, it sounds like what you've noticed is maybe something that I've noticed too, is there is a lot of lifting up of J.J. McCarthy, right? And some of that's good because you want to give this young quarterback coming off a very serious injury who obviously struggled with sitting out, right? We saw the fact that he lost all that weight. And I know the Vikings don't want to make a big thing of that because that just is part of the process of dealing with a significant injury. But it's also difficult to be sitting there when you're supposed to be the guy and Sam Darnold's out there at one point looking like the star of the show, right? And then you have an organization who makes a decision to let Sam Darnold walk. They want to keep Daniel Jones, but they don't want to pay what Daniel Jones wants because Daniel Jones wants to be the guy, right? Those guys left Minnesota for a reason because it was made very clear to them, no matter what, J.J. McCarthy is the guy. So what is it? Is it because Kevin O'Connell truly believes that J.J. is this superb Q who's going to come in here and turn this organization around and where they finally got their guy? I mean, possibly. Is it just because of what they did in the draft for him? Is it because they made these moves to get J.J. McCarthy? Is there an ownership influence here? So there's always a lot of factors to your point. But I think to just succinctly answer your question, do I think J.J. McCarthy is wowing everyone at training camp? No, I don't. I think he's fine. I still think Justin Jefferson told me what I needed to know when he spoke to the media before his injury and was like, essentially, everyone needs to slow down here. Like, he is still learning. And we have to be able to give him some of this grace here. So while, yes, I get why the organization is going, oh my gosh, J.J. McCarthy. And if you follow anything Vikings related, you would think this guy is the next biggest quarterback to play. And I think they're going to be just disappointed because there's going to be a natural period of time where he's just got to catch up and feel comfortable in this offense. So I'm with you. I'm not bought in all the way. I just think there's just going to be some time here before we can get to a point where we can have a serious conversation here and go, is he the guy or not? Now, it's different than when I was in Denver, right? There's no question mark who Bo Nix is, what he is, how they believe in him. They're doing the same stuff of building him up, but there's more proof there. Right? We've seen it. We've seen the talent. And even having conversations with Bo Nix, you hear it. You hear the confidence. You can understand that he's taking a step forward here in getting what he's being asked of from Sean Payton.
By the way, it's interesting. Last year, Dan Quinn was just overwhelmingly impressed with Jaden Daniels. Coaches kind of suppress comments in camp. So you knew Jaden Daniels was something. It was the same thing with Andrew Luck. When I forget the coach, was it Pagano or Bruce Arians, whoever it was, they were just saying, oh, this Andrew Luck kid from Stanford, this is insane. Sean Payton, from what I can tell, can't help himself with this Denver roster. I mean, you were there. I mean, I think he loves this team. And I don't think it's false optimism. You just spent time with him.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to be made, though, right? Like, some coaches are just going to yell at you to tell you how great their team is because there's actually nothing there, right? And it's almost like hope. I don't get that sense from Sean, who's really smart with the media. He's got his finger on the pulse of all of his locker rooms from over the years, going back to his days in New Orleans. He knows what his team needs, and he knows that there's some young players here, and Bo is young and developing. And granted, I know he's 25 and he's got 5 years of college experience, but this next step is big for him. And so I do think there's a little bit of Sean pumping him up to let Bo know, like, I love you. And you're right, he's in love with this team. But for a guy that loves offense and will talk your ear off about his quarterback if he loves the guy, it's his defense that he knows is the strength of this team. I was there for the first day of pads, and he's like, oh, did you see Greenlaw out there? Did you see him? I'm like, yeah, I saw him, because this is really the first time we've seen Denver have a really good, middle part of that defense. That front five is obviously ferocious. Patrick Surtain, the reigning defensive player of the year. They've got something special. And I know that. And, you know, Colin, I asked Patrick Surtain to rank quarterbacks for me, to just, you know, just give me the obvious ones that we all know. And I just want to hear where you go. And so, you know, it always gets dicey 5 and 6, right? We all start with Patrick and Lamar and Josh and Joe and Justin, right? And then it's like, okay, now where are we? Is it Jalen? Is it, and Patrick stopped me because I was ready to go Hurts, and he was the one who was like, Bo Nix. I'm like, what? Like, are you crazy? Like, not yet. He's like, Bo Nix, you will see. I practice against them every day. I'm telling you, you got to watch Bo Nix this year. And most of it is just this understanding that Nix has in the offense. It's just, he's really taken that step forward of getting the why behind it, why everything they're doing.
Dianna Russini, senior NFL insider. I can tell you've been at camp. You got the nice summer tan. You're out there working journalism. Journalism doesn't have to be in a cold, dark room where we all get pale. You can get out there and get some vitamin D. It's okay. This is a fun time in a way, it's a fun time of the year for all you guys, right? They're out there in the camps.
I love it. Everyone is optimistic. Players all want to do your show. They want to talk to you. They want to discuss their regimen, what they're eating, what they're planning. Just, and there's also a lot of boredom, right? Like, guys are in camp. Every day is the same. So just new faces is exciting to them. But yeah, this is the highlight. And so I'm going to lose like 3 shades, as you know, by November. And, you know, maybe we can get some fake tan deal here on the show. We'll get a sponsored segment, just, you know, Hollywood Tans or something, just to keep the glow, you know?
Diane, great seeing you as always.
I appreciate you.
All right, Dianna Russini.